Alrighty, there we are. We are live, and this time in this podcast history, I can actually remember what episode we're at. It's episode 27 of the Yank and Kiwi podcast, and as always, I'm your host, Brett, the handsome and charismatic one, and still filling in for Sam.
I'm Diente, the hostage who's stuck here every week now.
But he does a good job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So I guess before we get into this, before we get into the episode proper, just want to get some news out of the way. Right. It's comic book related, in fact. Guess who got his local comic book shop to order a copy of Rags? That's right, it was me.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes, expect photos on the Twitter and Instagram. And once it comes in, that's although they told me it won't arrive till next week, which works for me.
Cool. Did they say what day or just?
They just the lady I talked with said it wouldn't get until next week.
Yeah.
But they will call me back when it arrives. So. And yeah, I guess as people can notice, the face of the channel and actually most of my social media has now changed from me to Maev, and that's a conscious decision because now she's really becoming more the brand than I am.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's all about that branding, dude.
Sure.
Actually, there's something I do want to touch upon because the project did take a bit of a hit because my original artist had to commit to another project, and it would have been too time consuming for her to be able to do the changeling on the side.
Oh, damn it. You got someone else?
In fact, yes, I am trying out a guy out in Mexico. He's actually charging some pretty fair rates, and he's working on some sketches right now, and we'll see if he and I are gelling.
Sweet. At least you got a backup.
If all goes according. Yeah, if all works out, should be able to start work on the book well before. My goal is to have Changeling ready to go, so that I can have a booth set up for Jet City Comic Con in Tacoma next year. It's just not going to be happening this year because Jet City Comic Con happens November 3rd.
Okay.
It's just not. There's just not enough time.
No, it's only a little over 2 months away now.
Yeah, it's like I think like 66 days at this point. But yeah, it's just not enough with the resources I've got and how small my profile is at the moment. Not enough time. Just not enough time. Not enough time to get something together, much less get a booth reserved. Better to have. I'm hoping that I can at least have it. Ready to go by, like, say, I want to say. I don't know exactly how this works. How far in advance you are supposed to reserve booths at cons. I'm gonna have to dig into this, but I'm hoping I can have something like, say, by maybe. Like something tangible, at least by the end of winter.
All right. How often do the Comic Cons go on? I know there seems to be one every 3 or 4 months, roughly.
Okay, Comic Cons are like they are annual events, but it's like I think but if you're asking like on average how many happen in a year, that's actually a good question. I do not know that.
Okay.
Average comic conventions in a year. In a given year. Let's see what the Google says. In the hundreds, not counting like all the smaller cons. I don't know. I cannot seem to. You think I'd be able to find that easily? It doesn't. I'm seeing a bunch of articles that say like what fans want at fandom conventions and Comic Con festivals from around the world. Younger con attendees 50-50. 8 questions about Comic-Con you were too embarrassed to ask, published by Vox, so you know that one's probably garbage.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't really have the numbers, although, man, if any, I guarantee you it's got to be like well into the hundreds. There's like, I mean, just in the States alone, because you got the big ones like San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, and then there's all the smaller, more local or regional cons.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to, like, I guarantee, like, there's at least 3 cons in Washington alone. Like, you got Jet City Comic-Con in Tacoma, you got Emerald City Comic-Con up in Seattle, and what was the one my brother told me? I think it's Sakura Con. It's over in Spokane.
Okay.
Although that one might be more of an anime con. Is there much of a con scene out in New Zealand?
Yeah, we have an event called Armageddon, and it's 2 or 3 times a year, but it's only like in Auckland, Wellington, or Christchurch, the bigger cities. I've never actually gone to it myself, but that will be the closest we have to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Although, yeah, it probably doesn't get the same kind of press buzz that Comic-Con gets. Out here, like San Diego Comic-Con, that is like the con.
Yeah, that's the one that's in, was it July-ish?
In July, yeah, I think it is. It's in July. Yeah, it's down in San Diego.
Yeah, because I always see lots of trailers being released around that time. And this year we had the infamous Teen Titans trailer, which became the joke of the internet.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, that was funny.
It's called Titans, isn't it? Just Titans, not Teen Titans.
There was a comic series called Titans, which was I think the premise behind that was series was that it was the Titans, like the original Teen Titans, which was Dick Grayson, Roy Harper, Donna Troy, and the original Aqualad, and they got together and they decided, we got these teen superheroes running around. They need someone to show them how things are done. So they were basically playing mentors to this new crowd of up and coming young superheroes.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually pretty. It was the series that introduced a guy who was who became like a villain in like season 4 of Arrow. I think his name was Damien Dark. Like he was kind of made to be like a breakaway with like typical comic book villain cliches. Like for one, like how like henchmen are always wearing masks that obscure their faces.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, his henchmen didn't do that. And also, he seemed like he recruited a bunch of burnouts and hipsters. Yeah, I think he's a little different on Arrow, though.
I kind of gave up on Arrow after season 3, so I never got to when he turned up.
And like I said, I think he shows up in season 4.
Yeah, that was past my time.
Yeah. So look, because I didn't watch Arrow, but I did like The Flash. Although I think I stopped watching like somewhere around season 3. Like all I remember, the last big thing I remember was the thing with Zoom. That was like the last big thing I remember happening.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while. I know it's doing pretty well though. I mean, yeah, they've actually made a pretty good combined universe from what I'm hearing. I mean, they got Supergirl, they got the Heroes of Tomorrow, and now actually Wonder Woman's joined the fray. So,
wow.
they're pulling it together quite nicely as far as the series goes.
Yeah. That's what a friend once told me, that like when it comes to television, DC does it better than Marvel does.
Yeah.
Although I did once catch a clip on an Arrow clip on YouTube where I think where Oliver like he like name dropped Bruce Wayne. So
I'll
does
have to
that
check
mean
it
that
out.
Batman exists in the Arrowverse?
Well, Superman exists, so I guess Batman will be somewhere.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Batman, did you ever catch Gotham?
I caught the first season, and then it just didn't really gel with me that well, so I kind of gave up on it.
I mean, I wasn't really that interested in it, but I mean, like, I will give it this: the press was actually kind of neat, like showing what Gotham was like before Batman showed up, and focusing more on Gordon and him
Yeah.
getting through the ranks in the Gotham PD.
Yeah. I think
Like,
they just forced young Bruce Wayne in too much and like kind of reminding everyone, hey, yeah, you know he's gonna go out to be Batman, which we all know. We didn't really need that.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah,
yeah,
the Gordon stuff was good.
yeah. That's yeah, it is. Like, man, kind of because from what you're telling me, it sounds like that's what they really should have been focusing on was what he was dealing with.
Yeah.
Because like a big part in Batman is that the city's super corrupt, and like Gordon's the one good cop in the whole police department, or at least one
Yeah.
of the few good cops. And him and like it really like the series should be about him climbing his way through the ranks just so he can right the ship and get the police doing their job.
Yeah, which wouldn't be easy.
Yeah. Well, of course it shouldn't be, but yeah, that's honestly what it feels like what the show should be about is him just trying to make a difference in Gotham in the only way he can, which is getting which is taking the reins of the police department and then getting the cops to do their job.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a good show.
Yeah.
Is that still going? Was that finished? I actually haven't been
Let me take
following
a
it that
look.
well.
We're not still going check right now. Okay, you are loading. Let's see. From what I can tell, it's 4 seasons in, and it doesn't look like it's stopping.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, looks like they're gonna keep it going. So it's probably doing well enough in the ratings to warrant another season.
True. They might have found a way to tie it into the other DC series as well. So maybe
Yeah,
that's what's keeping it afloat.
maybe I don't know. I think though with those guys like with Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and Flash and Arrow, they were all like Flash and Arrow. They're on the CW. I think Supergirl was on CBS and then got moved to CW, and I think Legends of Tomorrow's on CW. Gotham, I think, airs on Fox.
Okay. Oh, well, there goes that theory.
Yeah.
Well, mind you, Fox is trying to save face, so they're making deals with a bunch of people, aren't they? So
True. Interesting how they get. Interesting. You'd think all the Marvel shows would premiere on they premiere on ABS because that's ABC because that's where you had Agents of Shield and Agent Carter.
yeah,
But like they keep all the like they have Legion on FX, which is a Fox Netflix channel. So you'd think all the Disney channels and Fox channels would have the Marvel shows, but whereas DC would go on all the WB channels, go on all the Warner Brothers channels.
you'd think.
I don't honestly. This is okay. How Gotham ended up on Fox is fascinating to me now. I'm gonna have to dig into that later, but yeah. But you know what? Enough talk about comic shit. There was actually something we did want to actually discuss, which was what it was something about. I think you floated me over Facebook about how there was might be some subliminal messaging
I
in in that B-52 song, Love Shack.
I don't know if it would actually count as subliminal message. That was just the first word that popped into my head, but it's a very odd scene. It was on my Saturday, and I was just got back from work, and I got a drink, and just usually I float around on YouTube. I just thought I'm just gonna look up some songs and just go through it like that, just for the hell of it. And then the B-52's song Love Shack came on. I thought, what the fuck? So I let it play. And then at the start, there's two very quick flashes of a goat slowly lifting its tail to expose itself. I'm like, wait, did I fucking see that? I had to go back. And yep, there it was. And I thought, okay, someone's probably just edited this, just to add it to this video. But no, apparently it is part of the official video. I'm like thinking, why the hell would you have something like that flash up on a song called Love Shack? And if you know what the Love Shack song is, it's basically about a bunch of people that go out to a cabin and they just hook up with each other. But you start off with this goat lifting its tail to expose itself. Why?
I didn't know that was a goat. When I saw that, I was thinking it was a donkey. In which case, it's supposed to be like a slight, like a veiled ass metaphor or something.
Donkey or goat. Yeah, okay, we'll go with donkey. I got it wrong. It's probably donkey. Yeah.
That's what I thought. It was a donkey. I thought it was a donkey. Something. I don't know. I mean, but if it's a goat, I can maybe see maybe there's because I think goats are kind of associated with sexuality or something.
And they are associated with the devil and temptation as well.
And Pan was a very sensual god, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, it could be that. Still, would that mean it falls under the category of subliminal message, or is it just a clever metaphor for what the song's going to be about?
Well, to be fair, I mean, I watched the video, right before we started this up, and honestly, the videos just seems like it's I think it's just supposed to be I think it's really falling more under it's supposed to be a thinly veiled metaphor because the whole just kind of a bunch of goofy love shit. Because I pulled up this article from songfats.com about Love Shack.
Yep.
It says Love Shack is in many ways a state of mind, a place where people of all stripes come for a groovy good time. The band drew inspiration from the club in the movie The Color Purple and from a real club outside Athens, Georgia called the Hawaiian Hale, where they would hang out. The place drew a multifarious crowd of hippies, scenesters, and a lot of students from the nearby University of Georgia. Drummer Keith Strickland has also mentioned keg parties out in the country as another inspiration.
Huh.
It says, though, this is the song that introduced the band to the mainstream, though.
Yeah.
I think that's once they got to the hook, I started thinking myself, wait a minute, I've heard this song somewhere before. Is there a movie I might recognize this was used in?
Oh god, it's probably used in a lot of movies.
I mean, it just sounds like it. It sounds like it's either I've heard this song in either a movie or a TV show, but it's not coming to me. I mean,
there was the Simpsons did the parody of it with that glove slap.
Oh, that's where. Yeah. Now I remember when Homer was that glove slap. Now I remember that.
That's the one.
Yes. Oh god, that was funny. Yes, it says Simpsons parodied the song in the episode E-I-E-I-Do with a song titled Glove Slap over a montage of Homer challenging Springfield residents to a duel with gloves, as well as the end credits. It was also sung by the B-52s.
Yeah.
Here's something actually. Yeah. Here's something kind of interesting, though. It says the lyrics are fun and harmless, but they can be interpreted as being about a place where people go to have sex. At Disney World, you will never see Mickey Mouse dancing to it. Really, they refuse to play it at Disney weddings.
Oh, Disney.
Also, so just because I think this is I think this is interesting. It
Yep.
says drag queen RuPaul is in the video.
Is he? Yeah.
He was unknown at the time. RuPaul is in this video.
Okay. I didn't see him.
Yeah. Interesting thing. But yeah, this interesting thing about like subliminal messaging, like this was a thing that's actually sort of crept like with rock and roll and especially over in heavy metal. Like probably one of the most famous examples came from this Judas Priest album, Stained Class. You know that one?
I know of it, yes.
Then you know the controversy surrounding that album.
Actually, I'm not sure I do. What happened there?
Okay, so the controversy behind Stained Class, it comes with one of their songs, "Better by You Than Better by You, Better Than Me." They got hit with a civil action lawsuit in 1990 by the family of teenager James Vance, who entered into a suicide pact with his friend Ray Belknap after allegedly listening to "Better by You, Better Than Me." Belknap succeeded in killing himself, and Vance was left critically injured after surviving a self-inflicted gunshot to the facial area, eventually dying 3 years later.
Yes, I did hear about this. So yeah, fuck.
The suit alleged that Judas Priest recorded subliminal messages on the song that said, "Do it." But the suit eventually got dismissed.
I do remember that.
Yep. Here's the funny thing. Bill Hicks ridiculed the lawsuit as part of his act, pointing out, as many others have also done, the absurdity of the notion that a successful band would wish to kill off their purchasing fan base.
Yep. It doesn't make much sense.
Yeah. Funny thing is that song, "Better by You, Better Than Me," it's a cover from a band called Spooky Teeth.
Spooky Teeth.
Yeah, that's that's what it says. It's originally by a band called Spooky Teeth.
Oh, let's look at Spooky Teeth.
And it says they were a band that was principally active between 1967 and 1974. I'm actually kind of curious I'm actually going to have to try, curious to see what the two versions sound like. It says they played like hard rock and psychedelic.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like that was like, but yeah, that's like one of the other thing with Stained Class, that's like one of the most infamous examples of there being allegedly subliminal messaging in heavy metal or rock.
Yeah, there was another incident. It was a while ago. And I can't remember if it was it AC/DC or Red Hot Chili Peppers, and if you play the song backwards, supposedly there was this message of saying how good suicide is, and this guy said he played the song backwards and he left in and only killed himself. Of course, later on the song was played backwards to listen to, and there was no such message. But yeah, I remember that happening as well.
Yeah, I mean, like yeah, I mean, like the whole thing, like it comes from like a thing called backmasking. Like there were a lot of, like I think there were like a lot of Christian groups talking about how this was being used to hide like satanic messages in it.
Yeah, like Stairway to Heaven's one of the more famous examples of that.
Really?
Yeah. There's supposed to be a subliminal backwards message saying how, we used to worship Satan and that's how we should be doing it. And I've actually listened to it and it sounds like a bunch of jargon to me, but like you can make out now and again 666. That actually does come out clearly, but that's might be purely coincidence. Of course, I'm not getting at anything here.
Well, I mean, like, can't say I don't see it because I do know for like a fact, like Jimmy Page is like really interested in has a heavy interest in the occult and that shit. And here's something really funny. Another one bites the dust. There's a Freddie Mercury scat vocal This is off a VH1 article, by the way.
Okay.
On the Scat Breakdown by Freddie Mercury, at the end of the song, on sound smoke marijuana when played in reverse. Although knowing Freddie, I might actually be willing to believe that. Like from what I understand, yeah. Freddie did all the drugs.
Yeah. He was lived quite in the fast lane there for a while.
Yep. Here's another one. Hotel California by the Eagles. If you listen to the opening verse backwards, you might be able to make out words that sound spookily like, yes, Satan organized his own religion.
Oh, that's a new one. Haven't heard that one.
Yeah, well, I think there was actually a little bit of controversy attached to Hotel California, something about it being tied to the Church of Satan or something.
Yeah, someone tried to tell me this story like freaking back in 98, how the verse, we all gather for the feast, we stab it with our steely knives, but we just can't kill the beast. That's supposed to represent all the
there's also that other one. Yeah, there's also that other one. Like I called the captain, please bring me my wine. He said, we haven't had that spirit here since 1969, which is when the Church of Satan was founded.
Yeah. And also, of course, the final line, which is, you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Yeah. Although I think I remember seeing a documentary about the Eagles with my dad. I don't remember if it's Glenn Fry or I think it's Fry. I'm going to say it's Glenn Fry. And Fry, he says he sees the song as being about losing innocence. It's a good documentary though. It's a two-parter.
I might have to check that one out.
I think my dad showed it to me on Netflix. Next one is Nightmare / The Dreamtime by Motorhead. Now tell me about your miserable little lies. I do not subscribe to your flower-minded flights of paranoia. I and people like me will always prevail. You will never stifle our free speech in any country in the world because we will fight forever. This album was released on the heels of the Motorhead's multi-year legal battle with their record company, but there are some who say this was the band's message to the censor-happy PRMC. Knowing Lemmy, that's probably it. That's something he would have done.
Yep, sounds about right.
Yeah. Next one is Final Scream by Grim Reaper. Immediately after the child's voice says "Good night, Daddy," a series of low, growling gibberish is heard. In reverse, it sounds an awful lot like "See You in Hell." Pretty spooky, but it could also be seen as an homage to their previous album of the same name. I'm gonna lean with that.
Jesus, go away.
The dog.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I think that's if the line is supposed to be "See You in Hell," it's probably them just making a nod to their first album.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, like, you got to try and put some context to what they're actually saying as well, if they're saying anything, that is.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, next one is Gonna Raise Hell by Cheap Trick.
Oh, what's that one?
The 9-minute epic contains a hidden backwards message that allegedly says, Satan holds the keys to the lock.
Okay. That's kind of vague.
Yeah. Well, the problem, unfortunately, VH1 says, sadly, we cannot find a clip on YouTube, but this MP3 should do the trick. I don't know about that. Next one is Stormbringer by Deep Purple, which, by the way, that song, anyone with a brain knows that's a reference to Elric.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the sword that steals souls. According to legend, this album opener kicks off with the same gibberish spoken by Linda Blair in the horror classic The Exorcist. Played backwards, it sounds an awful lot like cocksucker, motherfucker, Stormbringer. Knowing Richie Blackmore, that could probably be real.
Yeah, I won't put it past them.
Yeah. Okay, this one's too easy. Okay. Hell Awaits by Slayer.
All right, what's it say?
Vocalist Tom Araya has admitted to opening their sophomore album with reversed voices chanting, "Join us," 45 times before finally culminating with "Welcome back." He also claims the satanic imagery on the album art was solely for effect and not for genuine Satan summoning, which I can believe because I think Tom is actually a pretty devout Catholic. I think the
Yeah.
only actual Satanist in the band is Carrie.
Well, at least that's them admitting to what it is. So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like you can but with Slayer, you can kind of see that they kind of
Yeah.
had that image.
Yeah. Yeah. I buy that.
Yeah. Next one is El Dorado by Electric Light Orchestra.
Okay.
Yeah. The cut of ELO's 74 album was believed to contain the very specific message, "He is the nasty one. Christ, you're infernal. It is said we're dead men. Everyone who has the mark will live." Songwriter and lead vocalist Jeff Lynne didn't take kindly to the devil-worshipping rumors, calling it Skolob. Oh, read it backwards. It's bollocks.
I was right to say, what does that mean?
Yeah. In addition to the denials, he slipped intentional backwards messages into a few future songs. Our favorite comes from Fire on High, which appears to say the music is reversible, but time is not. Turn back, turn back, turn back, turn back.
Huh.
This one is way too is even more easier than Slayer.
Okay.
As Flitter Mice as Satan's Spies by Dark Throne.
Oh boy.
The Norwegian black metal band. which VH1 wrongly labeled as death metal. No, they are not. Dark Throne is not death metal. They're black metal when they're good. Dark Throne was known for raising the bar and being hardcore, so it's probably not all that shocking that this album cut features backmasked vocals that say, "In the name of God, let the churches burn." This song was written by the notorious Varg Vikernes, who later went to prison for murder and fittingly the several counts of church arson, which he was never proven to actually be connected to.
Yep. So that one's slightly possible?
Well, like I said, like the whole thing with black metal is just being satanic for shock value, so...
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I mean, like, from what I understand, like, your average black metal musician is not even really a Satanist.
No, it's more just for show, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of it's theatrics. Most of them, like, if they're religious, they're likely neo-pagans. Otherwise, they probably just don't care.
Yeah, true.
Next one is Dinner at the Deviant's Place by Cradle of Filth. The underlying drone of gibberish within the song is actually the Lord's Prayer being recited backwards, which is commonly employed to summon demons.
Okay. Sure.
That's kind of to be fair, that is something I can see Cradle of Filth doing. Unfortunately, I've had Cradle of Filth ruined for me thanks to watching the IT Crowd. Yeah. Next one is Snowblind by Styx. Both the California State Legislature and aforementioned PMRC insisted that the Styx lyrics contained satanic backwards messages. Specifically, the line, "Hard to make it so," was said to be Satan moved through our voice when played in reverse. Many felt the comparison was merely coincidental, but that the organization used it as one of their prime examples while lobbying for stricter music warning labels.
Yeah, that could work. That works.
I don't know. Styx being satanic, I just have a hard time seeing that.
Yeah, but if it's getting at the whole record label thing.
True. Yeah. And of course, number 4 is Better by You Than Me. Better by You, Better Than Me by Judas Priest, which we already know. That one, people thought that one was like sneaking in a suicide message, but that was never proven. And as Bill Hicks rightly pointed out, What sense would it make for a successful band to want to sneak in a subliminal message telling their fans to kill themselves?
Yeah, it makes very little sense.
Oh, this one's good. This one, I wonder if you know this one.
What's
It's
this one?
The White Album by the Beatles.
Okay, what is it?
Technically, the first sinister message to appear in a Fab Four track was in the Fade Out to Strawberry Fields Forever, in which John Lennon seems to say, "I buried Paul."
Oh,
This,
yeah, I have heard this.
this was part of the infamous Paul is Dead conspiracy, which claims that Paul McCartney was killed in a brutal car crash in 1966 and secretly replaced with a double. According to the theory, the surviving members placed clues in their music and album art in order to tell the true fans what happened.
I have heard that. It's fucking ridiculous.
Clues were supposedly littered throughout their Sgt. Pepper and Magical Mystery Tour albums, but the 1968 so-called White Album had the mother lode. The gibberish spoken by John at the end of "I'm so tired" is heard by some as "Paul is a dead man. Miss him, miss him, miss him." But the freakiest message of all occurs near the end of the record on the notorious avant-garde sound collage Revolution Number 9. An engineer's droning voice intones number 9 throughout the plus-size track, but in reverse, it appears to say, "Turn me on, dead man." Upon closer examination, we're not entirely sure what that means, but it's still pretty scary.
That is an odd thing to have in it. And I have actually heard this song, and it does say those things. What they're referring to is a completely other discussion, though. But yeah, it is unsettling. I will give it that. It is very unsettling to listen to.
Yeah, well, this was like well into when John was with Yoko, right?
Yeah.
Because like once like Yoko got in, like then just that's when John really started going weird.
Oh my God.
And next one is, of course, "Stairway to Heaven."
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, like the connection with Jimmy Page and the occult goes way back. He bought famed Satanist Aleister Crowley's mansion, and rumors persist to this day that he sold his soul to the devil in exchange for fame. In the early 80s, evangelical broadcaster Paul Crouch leveled accusations at several notable bands that they snuck evil hidden messages into their music. He mentioned, "If there's a bustle in your hedgerow" segment of the Zepp masterpiece, which appears to say, "Oh, here's to my sweet Satan, the one whose little path would make me sad, whose power is Satan. I will give those with him 666. There was a little tool shed where he made us suffer, sad Satan."
Yep.
There may be no such thing as bad press, but the band were not impressed. They declined to comment at the time, but Swanson Records issued a statement reading, our turntables only play in one direction, forwards." Several years later, Page did weigh into Musician magazine on the matter. "To me, it's very sad because Stairway to Heaven was written with every best intention, and as far as reversing tapes and putting messages on the end, that's not my idea of making music."
No, but you can actually look it up on YouTube. This that part they play backwards, and what they've got there is pretty accurate to what you actually hear. So, yeah.
Now here's the number one, 665 by Soundgarden.
Okay, I've not heard this one, I don't think.
It seems like lead singer Chris Cornell didn't get the Satan memo or else just misread it. That's the only way to explain this ode to Santa. Lines like, "Santa, I love you, baby, my Christmas king. Santa, you're my king. I love you, Santa, baby, got what I need," appear throughout the song. Who knows, maybe it was just a typo on the lyric sheet. It said, well, the title is called 665. Okay. Kind of, you have to admit that's kind of on the nose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would not have expected the number one to go to Soundgarden, I'll admit that.
No, that's considering who else was on the list.
Yeah, I mean, you had fucking Darkthrone on there. Yeah, and then there's the thing with the Beatles.
That Beatles one I would have put at number one, to be honest, because it's very odd. I mean, if you haven't listened to it, like you can easily look all of these up on YouTube. I'd say give it a listen, and you'll see how unsettling it actually is to listen to the lyrics being played backwards like that and what's actually being said. It's pretty spooky actually. I'm gonna give it that.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I'm actually also looking up like a backmasking article on Wikipedia, and it says that Frank Zappa used backmasking a lot to avoid censorship, like on the track "Hot Poop." The released version contains at the end of on its side A the backmasked message. Better look around before you say you don't care. Shut your fucking mouth about the length of my hair. How would you survive if you were alive, shitty little person? The profanity-laden verse, originally from the song "Mother People," was censored by Verve Records, so Zappa edited the verse out, reversed it, and inserted it elsewhere into the album as "Hot Poop." Even though the backward message the word "fucking" is censored. Knowing what I do know about Frank Zappa, that is something he would do.
Oh yeah. And it seems odd that he'd censor the word backwards though, but I guess he had his reasons.
The guy was fucking weird anyway.
True. No, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. There's other artists who've gotten accused of backmasking besides Led Zeppelin, Beatles, and Queen. And Styx and Judas Priest. Like there's Pink Floyd, there's the Rolling Stones, which I can see. Jefferson Starship, AC/DC, Rush, Britney Spears, and Eminem.
No, Nirvana. Nirvana's been had a couple like that.
Real, that's it. I can buy that actually.
Yeah. I've never heard of any. Well, Britney Spears. I wouldn't know what they were. Eminem. I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, no, yeah, you can't especially if this is like back when he was like back in I want to say between like Slim Shady and Marshall Mathers album.
Oh yeah.
Like back when he seemed like he was really, really out of his mind. Which some people will say that's when he was producing his best music.
I'd have to actually agree with them on that.
Yeah, I mean, like the dude was like constantly in and out of rehab, but he was making some pretty good music.
Yeah, he was. He was pretty big back then as well.
Oh my god, yeah, he was Eminem was just like Eminem was like everywhere when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
Like he was what he was back then like was essentially I'm trying to think of the big it rapper is now, and I can't think of anyone other than actually I've got no one because like I yeah, I can't. Like he was all I can say is like he was huge back when I was in middle school, he was huge. Everyone knew who he was. It was also it was actually also kind of a big deal because he came from Detroit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he was like one of the first really successful white rappers who actually came with some legitimacy too. Like people sort of gave like Vanilla Ice shit because he didn't seem like he was legit, but like Eminem actually looked like he was. Like he wasn't just like this wasn't just an act for him. This was him.
Yeah.
He was the real deal. And to be fair, if I don't know if you've seen 8 Mile, but that's sort of like a soft adaptation of his life before he got famous.
Yeah. I think I've seen the last half of it, and that was just because playing in the background on TV. I haven't actually sat down to watch it fully.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sort of a vanity project when you get right down to it, but it's at least one that comes from a real place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, We started off talking about subliminal messaging, and now it's turned into talking about Eminem. It's interesting how interesting what's in turns these podcasts take. I mean, then again, like last week, like I think we spent more time talking about talking about an alt-right podcast than we did about memes.
We did. It was a damn good podcast, though.
Yeah, that was great. That was fun. That was fun. But yeah. Oh, there is something interesting on this Wikipedia article. It says a further use of backmasking is to censor words and phrases deemed inappropriate on radio edits for clean releases. For example, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce this. Is it pronounced Fugees or Fugees? Fugees.
I think that's the Fugees.
The Fugees' clean version of the album The Score contains several backmasked profanities. Thus, when playing the album backwards, the censor words are clearly audible among the backward gibberish.
Yeah, they were kind of an odd band, though.
I don't know much about the Fugees. I do not know much about the Fugees. Like, they're a hip hop group?
Yeah, they were like, this was a few years ago. They were slow and up and coming. It was kind of like they found their feet in the business, but they could never quite take off, if you know what I mean. They were always sort of floating in the middle.
Like they never, it says like they rose to fame in the early 90s. Like this is probably like, I'm going to assume like this is a little before guys like Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. got popular.
Yeah.
It says their repertoire included elements of hip hop, soul, and Caribbean music, particularly reggae. That actually sounds pretty cool. Yeah. It says, here's something. It says the Britney Spears 2011 song Until the World Ends. Britney Spears says, if you want this good shit. However, on the official version, shit is reverse, creating the ish sound. Therefore, the official version says, if you want this good ish.
Okay, that doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
Oh, here's one they did with Tom Petty on You Don't Know How It Feels. Censored the word joint, resulting in the line, let's roll another tin. It's joint spelled backwards. I'm not even going to try pronouncing it.
Joint. Tinoj? Chinjoy? Oh, fuck, I don't know. That's a fucking odd one.
All just because he says the word joint referencing marijuana. Although I have to wonder if nowadays as you can get it uncensored, censored on the radio, because now apparently marijuana is okay. Yeah.
Probably could. It's probably one of the words that they'll let slide now, and everything else just becomes insulting to everyone. But joint's fine now, so don't worry.
Yep. Oh, here's one where Pink Floyd dropped a backmasked message into empty spaces. Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations. You have just discovered the secret message. Please send your answer to Old Pink, care of the Funny Farm. Chalfont. Roger, Carolyn's on the phone. Okay.
Sounds like he's just taking the piss out of people who play backwards trying to find it.
Yeah. It says the first line may refer to former lead singer Syd Barrett, who is thought to have suffered a nervous breakdown years earlier. The first known instance of Pink Floyd having a backwards message is on the song Bike. When played backwards, it produces a nonsense poem. That is something they would do, probably.
Yeah, that sounds like them.
Yeah. Oh, this one's funny. Tenacious D includes the backward message, eat donkey crap at the end of Karate from their first self-titled album.
That's them. That's them in a nutshell. That's something they do.
Oh, here's a really funny one. Belgian act. Oh, fuck, it's in French. Poesy Noir included a satirical backmasked message on their 1988 album Tetra saying, "You fucking asshole, play the record the normal way." No, actually, I want to find that album because that actually sound. That's funny. That is.
Yeah, that was well done.
Oh, here's another one. B-side of the 1966 Napoleon the 14th single, They're Coming to Take Me Away, Haha, is a reversed version of the entire Forwards record titled, it's spelled backwards. I'm not even going to bother.
Oh, God.
WWE wrestler Al Snow had a theme song that had backmasking in it. The song was mostly instrumental, but at one point, a clearly audible voice can be heard saying a line of gibberish. When the song is played backward, the gibberish is actually saying, I am the one in control. The message played on Al Snow's character as an unstable madman.
Yeah, that would work.
Oh man, you remember Al Snow?
Yeah, his little mannequin head.
Guy was nuts. The Beatles song Free as a Bird was originally composed and recorded in 1977 as a home demo by John Lennon. In 1995, a studio version of the recording, incorporating contributions from Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr, was released as a new single from the Beatles' Anthology 1 project 25 years after their breakup and 15 years after Lennon's death. In a humorous self-parody and tribute to Lennon, the surviving Beatles inserted a backmasked clip of Lennon saying, "Turned out nice again" at the very end of the song.
Yeah.
Still, though, you can't beat that one with Police Noir. That's just too funny.
It is. That was good.
Yeah. There's actually another example of backmasking on that Styx album, El Dorado.
Okay.
No, it's not El Dorado. It's their other album, Face the Music. Down Hometown begins with a voice twice repeating in reverse, Face the Mighty Waterfall. And the opening instrumental, Fire on High, contains the backmasked message. The music is reversible. Oh, wait, we already covered this one. In 1983, ELO released an entire album, Secret Messages, in response to the controversy, including the backmasked among the many backmasked messages on the album are, "Welcome to the Big Show. Thank you for listening. Look out, there's danger ahead. Hub 2, 3, 4, time after time, and you're playing me backwards." 1983's Kilroy Was Here, which deals with an allegorical group called the Majority for Musical Morality that outlaws rock music. A sticker on the album contains the message, "By order of the Majority for Musical Morality, this album contains secret backward messages." And the song Heavy Metal Poisoning does, in fact, contain the backmasked Latin words, "Annus coepites novus ordo seclorum." God has favored our undertakings, a new order for the ages. Part of the Great Seal, which encircles the pyramid on the back of the American dollar bill. Oh, no. Now, here's one I can definitely see.
Right.
Iron Maiden's 1983 album, Peace of Mind, features a short backwards message included by the band in response to allegations of Satanism that were surrounding them at the time. Between the songs The Trooper and Still Life, an inebriated drummer Nico McBrain doing an impression of Idi Amin Dada, "What ho said the thing with the three bunts?" Said the thing with the three pads. Don't meddle with things you don't understand. Followed by a belch. He was fucking drunk. A backwards message is Nico McBrain being fucking smashed. That's hilarious. Prince's controversial song Darling Nikki includes the backmasked message, "Hello, how are you? I am fine because I know the Lord is coming soon." The Waitress's 1982 EP, I Could Rule the World If I Could Only Get the Parts, included a backwards masking warning on the cover and a message masked within the song, "The Smartest Person I Know. Anyone who believes in backwards masking is a fool." Some messages chastise or poke fun at the listener who is playing the song backwards. One such message was included by Weird Al in I Remember Larry from the 1996 album Bad Hair Day, in which Yankovic lightly chastises the listener with the backmasked remark, "Wow, you must have an awful lot of free time on your hands."
That's him. That's totally him.
Oh, the B-52 song Detour Through Your Mind from Bouncing Off the Satellites contains the message, I buried my parakeet in the backyard. Oh no, you're playing the record backwards. Watch out, you might ruin your needle.
Ruin your needle.
The,
yeah, record needle. Yeah.
Yep. A similar message comes from the Canadian band Frozen Ghost from their self-titled album, You Are Ruining Your Needle. I'd say you kids don't know what it's like to have to use a record player, but I was too even I'm too young for that because we didn't. Because by the time when I was growing up, we had cassette players and then CD players.
Yeah, I remember record players. I was the old one who was back then.
Yep. Meanwhile, Christian rock group Petra included in their song Judas Kiss from the album More Power to You the message, what are you looking for the devil for when you ought to be looking for the Lord? That's actually pretty clever.
Yeah, it is.
Bloodhound Gang's controversy written begging track Lift Your Head Up High and Blow Your Brains Out mocked the Judas Priest controversy directly and included the backmask phrase, Devil Child, wake up and eat Chef Boyardee beefaroni. If for those of you who don't know, Bloodhound Gang was that band, what was it called? I forget the name of the song, but it's the one where the chorus is, you and me ain't nothing but mammals, so let's do it like they do it on the Discovery Channel.
Yep. That's probably the most well-known song.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always kind of something they did where their songs were always kind of comedic.
Yep.
The band Mindless Self-Indulgence released a song called Backmask Warning, which contained the forward lyrics, play that record backwards. Here's a message for yo, the suckers. Play that record backwards and go fuck yourself. The backwards messages in the song include clean your room, do your homework, don't stay out too late, and eat your vegetables.
Huh.
Yeah. Devo's hit song Whip It has Mark Mothersbaugh saying, hey, come over here when the song is played backwards.
That's a weird one.
Yeah. Oh, their backmasking actually gets parodied in an episode of The Simpsons. You remember that episode where Bart, Milhouse, Nelson, and I think Ralph?
Oh yeah, man. Join the Navy.
No, yeah, they get made into a boy band, and it turns out that there's a subliminal messaging saying, "Join the Navy."
Yeah, even at the yard or some shit is the line. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yep. Futurama episode Calculon 2.0 also has a scene where an installation disc is played backwards on what looks like an old-fashioned gramophone player with the words "Rise from the dead in the name of Satan" coming from it. I think I remember this episode. It's the one where they resurrect Calculon after he committed suicide.
I don't think I ever saw that episode.
Yeah, I think it was like the one that got released on. I think it was like one of the later episodes. You know, like back when they revived it on Comedy Central.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Honestly, that one's all the satirical ones. That's actually, and the humorous ones. That one's actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like, I would say though that the the Poésie Noire one, that one's got to be the funniest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta look at that up. I gotta look that up again just because it's so funny. You fucking asshole! Play the record the normal way.
It says there you go.
I was gonna say I just have to track that album down. I have to listen to that.
Yeah, it's probably worth doing. But it sounds like after all these controversies about the backmasking, people just did it on purpose now, just to turn into a bit of a parody, made fun of it, and turned into a bit of a laugh. So
yeah, well, you can.
Yeah.
It also says that it can be actually done for aesthetics as well too.
Okay.
Yeah, like to enhance the meaning or sound of a track, like it said, like during the Judas Priest subliminal message trials, Rob Halford admitted to recording the words "In the dead of night, love bites," recorded backwards into the track Love Bites from Defenders of the Faith. Asked why he recorded the message, Halford stated, "When you're composing songs, you're always looking for new ideas, new sounds." Stanley Kubrick used Masked Ball, an adaptation of Jocelyn Pook of her earlier work. Backwards Priest from the album Flood featured reversed Romanian chanting as the background music for the masquerade ball scene in Eyes Wide Shut. It says, but at the end of Before I Forget by Slipknot, lead singer Corey Taylor's voice can be heard saying, "You're wasting it," which is in reference to how Rick Rubin, the producer of their album Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses, wanted Taylor to change the chorus vocal melody because he felt it wasn't catchy. However, Taylor stood his ground and the chorus stayed unchanged. One backwards masking technique is to reverse an earlier part of the song. Missy Elliott used this technique in one of her songs, Work It, as did Jay Cho at the Drive-In and Lacuna Coil. Self-Deception on Coma, Liza. I think I remember that one. I haven't heard that song in a long time. A related technique is to... Sorry.
I just say it's not ringing any bells for me.
Yeah, Lacuna Coil, they're sort of a goth metal band from Italy.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Yeah. A related technique is to reverse an entire instrumental track. John Lennon originally wanted to do so with Rain, but objections from producer George Martin and bandmate Paul McCartney cut the backwards section to 30 seconds. Stone Roses made heavy use of this technique in songs including Don't Stop, Guernica, and Simone, which are all backwards versions of other Stone Roses tracks, sometimes overdubbed with new vocals that sound somewhat similar to their initial track when backmasked. Meanwhile, Clatow used the reversed vocals from Anus of Uranus from their first album, 347 EST. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is not a band that's meant to be taken all that seriously.
No, it doesn't sound it at all.
As for the vocals for the song Silly Boys on their third album, Sir Army Suit, the lyrics for Silly Boys on the lyric sheet from Sir Army Suit are accordingly printed backwards. Danish band Muse 2009 album No More Stories contains a track, New Terrain, which, when listened to in reverse, reveals a new song entitled Nervous.
Yeah.
Says the artists also use backmasking of sounds or instrumental audio to produce an interesting sound effect. One such sound effect is the reverse echo. When done on tape, such use of backmasking is known as reverse tape effects. One example is Matthew Sweet's 1999 album In Reverse, which includes reverse guitar parts which were played directly onto a tape running in reverse. For live concerts, the guitar parts were played live on stage using a backward emulator. Yeah, so there's actually kind of a way to do it. Oh, holy shit. I just scrolled up a little up on the article, and that Soundgarden song, it said when played backwards, the song 665 and 667 revealed that the song is about Santa Claus.
What the fuck?
If that's probably maybe Chris Cornell just taking a dig at the whole idea.
Yeah, I'd say so. Santa Claus. Okay, then. Okay.
Oh, here's something. Marilyn Manson used this technique in the beginning of his song Tourniquet. When played backwards, his voice could be heard saying, "This is my lowest point of vulnerability." I can see them doing that.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I have to imagine, though, it's probably like a lot easier to do this shit nowadays with digital.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it probably had to be like sort of difficult to record this shit back in the day, back when they were still using records. It's
it'd take a lot of planning anyway.
Yeah, I bet they do. I can believe that. Leave that, but yeah, it's just but I mean, like with like computers and everything being digital nowadays, like it's not hard to make a track or play in reverse. Just do it. You can do that shit in Pro Tools easy.
Yeah, I mean, shit, I mean, you and I could do it easy enough now.
Oh yeah, definitely. In fact, there was actually, I can't believe I'm actually going to bring this up, but it's there was an episode of Steven Universe where they kind of played with this.
Yeah.
What happens is, I think what is Amethyst gets her gem damaged and she starts talking backwards. And someone actually took all the moments in that episode where she talks backwards and plays them in reverse. And at a certain point, like, you can tell like she's having to speak backwards just so her words come out correctly.
Oh.
I don't think it was them doing like anything. I don't think it was them doing anything about backmasking or anything, but it's just an interesting thing. Like they did. It was just kind of an interesting thing about that episode.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna check the Google just to see if there was anything else interesting in coming up with like backmasking or subliminal messages in rock. Because there is one like about subliminal messaging, rock and roll myths. And so I wonder if this has got anything interesting on it. Because all the other articles are like look like they're from like Christian websites.
Okay.
Yeah. It says backmasking first came to public was included by the Beatles and was subsequently connected to the Paul is dead myth, blah, blah, blah. Brings up stuff like Fire and High by Electric Light Orchestra, Empty Spaces by Pink Floyd, and then there's Stairway to Heaven, and then there's Better by You, Better by Me, and Judas Priest. Yeah, honestly, this article doesn't look like it's talking about anything we did not already find.
Mm.
Honestly, though, I mean, like, if I had to put my finger to it, I would say like backmasking looks like something that's more that does not seem to have the kind of effect some people think it has.
No, it's
like you can't sneak messages that are going to influence people like that. I mean, like, now to be fair, I mean, like I've heard of some spooky shit the CIA gets up to with MK Ultra, but that's like a very different beast.
Yep.
He's like, that's something that's now the shit they do. Like, I can actually believe that that's designed to actually influence people's brains, people's minds. I mean, there's a difference.
Yeah, but that's the CIA. I mean, they get up to all kinds of fucking weird shit.
Yeah. Like, and to hear Sam tell they've got up to shit that makes the SS and the KGB look kind by comparison.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like with backmasking, like sneaking in satanic messages. Yeah, I'm not really sure I buy it.
No, I don't either.
I mean, like I said, I think Bill Hicks just summed it all up pretty well. I mean, like, why would a band that's hugely successful want to include messages telling their fans to kill themselves?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I think we've pretty much taken this topic as far as we can. So we'll call it good for now. Hopefully we'll catch you guys next week.
Yep. Take care, everyone.
Mm-hmm.